French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to India. He is the chief guest at the 75th Republic Day, and these are images of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron at Jantar Mantar in Jaipur. The images that you see, one of Jantar Mantar, and in a while from now, the two would be a part of a Shobha Yatra, a kind of a victory parade, a road show, a 1.6 kilometer long, 1.76 kilometer long road show in the heart of Jaipur. And that's where you have people lined up on either side of the road. We'll show you images. It's a sea of saffron on either side of the road, with people of Rajasthan wearing their traditional Kesariya Saffa, a sign of victory. There are celebrations for the Divya, Bhavya Ram Mandir Prana Pratishtha that took place in Ayodhya on the 22nd of January, and now on the 25th of January. There are two reasons to celebrate. One, the strategic partnership between India and France, the images of which you see on your television screen, and two, the Prana Pratishtha of the Ram Lala Vigraha at the Divya Bhavya Navya Ram Mandir at Ayodhya. And Geeta Mohan, who joins us from Jaipur, tells us more about it. So Geeta, this usually would have been all about foreign affairs and India and France, but on ground you also hear a lot of Jai Shri Ram, and explain that to us.
The celebrations over here, the fact that people are coming out, Gaurav, has to do with what they call is a massive achievement of Prime Minister Modi, and they're here to celebrate that moment, that is the Ram Temple. From the bhajan that we've been hearing, to the chants by people, to the celebrations thanking Prime Minister Modi, they've all been celebrating the moment of the Ram Temple. It is a celebration of January 22nd that you're seeing continue here in Jaipur. I was speaking to a few of them over here. They said that they're really happy that Prime Minister Modi chose Jaipur as the city to host a foreign dignitary just right after the Ram Temple inauguration, and therefore look at the celebrations, all of them chanting Jai Shri Ram and Har Har Modi. So that's what you can hear. It resonates. You can hear it through and through the city of Jaipur, especially.
Geeta, we are looking at this first image. Geeta, you can describe these images to us. It's an open vehicle. It's an open jeep that the two are on, and the Prime Minister of India and the President of France in that open vehicle standing side by side, their faces lit up, and look at the crowd on either side of the road there to greet Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron. Geeta, take it away.
Well, Gaurav, firstly, the weather is just perfect over here in Jaipur. There's a bit nip in the air, perfect for President Macron to enjoy the city. If I could ask Prem to just show how the city is now lit up. It's dark, so the buildings around are all lit up. We are in that stretch, which would be the fag end of the stretch that Prime Minister Modi and President Macron would be taking. An open jeep, again, why? Is because atop every building are police personnel. Security agencies have secured this entire stretch of 1.7 kilometers from Jantar Mantar up to the fag end of this roadshow, and you have security agencies on every building, and that's why you have an open vehicle that the two dignitaries are traveling on. Not just this, just before the rally or the roadshow was to begin, way before that, when we were all entering, there were sniffer dogs over here. There were army personnel deployed with sniffer dogs. They were carrying out an entire sanitization operation, and then there were people over here who were only getting in after thorough security check. So security in place and security personnel absolutely alert. There were briefings for them on what to do, where to be deployed, and therefore you're seeing an absolutely secure area of 1.7 kilometers for this Shobha Yatra. Fantastic visuals when it comes to color.
Absolutely fantastic visuals, Geeta, if I may. It's a sea of saffron here. People with their mobile phones out, their lights flashing, taking pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron. You have the Special Protection Group, the SPG, and the French police that protect the French President Emmanuel Macron. They're walking shoulder to shoulder, and the two heads of state and government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Macron, they're waving to the crowd on either side. You see the national tricolour, you see the French flag, you see placards of India-France friendship, and of course, Geeta, that warm hug, that hug between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President, multiple posters. So when you were talking to people, Geeta, what was the buzz on ground as we look at this, and how are the French reacting to this?
Well, one, what we now have started calling diplomacy has become a trait for Prime Minister Modi. If it is a friend, if it's a very friendly nation, you will see the leaders then hug. And Prime Minister Modi and President Macron have met 6 times. So that speaks volumes of how important this relationship is, and the importance both leaders attach not just to the relationship between the countries, but have been personally invested in this relationship. We in some time will be seeing Prime Minister Modi and President Macron take this very stretch, which is the Johari Bazaar stretch. They are moving from Jantar Mantar to Hawa Mahal, and from there to this Johari Bazaar stretch, which is the fag end of the stretch. So a lot of importance attached to not just the relationship, but the personal bonhomie that the two leaders share for each other. And you will be seeing that not just with the Chai Pe Charcha, where we say that the delicacies, the flavor of India is not in just absorbing the color, the lights, the people, the music, the art and craft, but also to absorb the delicacies. It starts with a chai and will end with a fantastic dinner that Prime Minister Modi is going to host for President Macron at the all-famous Rambagh Palace.
So looking at these absolutely spellbinding images, both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President have a huge smile on their faces as they wave. The French President also giving this thumbs up, and people who've already seen and waved and met the two heads of state and government are actually running up ahead to catch another glimpse of the two as they exchange a conversation. And of course, there's a journalist vehicle in front that's also recording this. There are people who are standing on either side of the road recording this on their mobile phones. It's this 21st century mobile phone that everyone wants to capture a piece of history, and they're showering flap petals on the road towards the cavalcade, both roses and marigold. So, a sign that they consider this very auspicious, Geeta.
Well, absolutely. The visuals are quite telling, and it is going to be a fantastic moment for President Macron. He also is looking at the upcoming European Union elections. This certainly, any foreign trip also plays well back home, where they also have an agenda when it comes to showing a very strong foreign policy agenda. And with India, France can never get it wrong, because no party, no leader in France has ever had an anti-India approach or an anti-India foreign policy. So this is not just great in terms of consolidation right after a Rajasthan election win for Prime Minister Modi, who's looking at general elections in May. It's also a huge, the optics are huge for President Macron, who's looking at a European Union elections in a few months from now. And that certainly is going to be at play over here. Look at the visuals. The two leaders talking. Prime Minister Modi explaining the area and having a very nice, friendly conversation with President Macron. President Macron, again, then asking a few questions to Prime Minister Modi. In a normal course, when they have their formal conversations, Gaurav, we know that they always have interpreters. But
Yep.
Prime Minister Modi, not everybody understands. Prime Minister Modi is quite all right, quite comfortable in holding a conversation on his own too. So here he, the way he can explain is explaining the roadshow, the people, few things that he really thinks is important also would be a part of the conversation. But we have in our own enclosure an entire musical band that has been playing through and through patriotic songs, bhajans because of the Ram temple, and then women who are wearing their yellow saris, completely depicting what they really want over here to come and symbolize, which is basically celebration of the Ram temple. So a lot of celebration over here when it comes to the inauguration of the Ram temple. But the visuals of President Macron and Prime Minister Modi in that open vehicle with people showering flower petals at the leadership, although it might very hardly be reaching Prime Minister Modi and President Macron from the ground, but they're still showering petals. Some of them also waving flags, the Indian and the French tricolour. And then sometime you'll see all those who are standing and looking from their shops over here on the side run up to the front of the barricades where
absolutely
they will be able to
divine,
see,
absolutely
get a glimpse of
spellbinding looking images here. Geeta, Jaipur anyway looks spectacular. It's been decked up for this visit. It anyway is one of the main tourism centers in our country, and we're looking at this image of that spectacular roadshow for the French President Emmanuel Macron, being hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, of course, there is also this lavish dinner that we're told that's been laid out at the Rambagh Palace Hotel. So at the Rambagh Palace Hotel, there's a multi-course dinner again. This is where India's cuisine will be up for the French president to taste and his entourage. It's not just a ministerial delegation that accompanies the French president, but there are also businessmen. An effort to take this relationship from people to people, business to business, also ensure that Indian students are able to study in France, higher education and co-development and co-research, scientific research together. That is a key area. The selection of Jaipur, very careful. The fact that he was taken to the sundial at Jantar Mantar, again, an effort to show India's scientific bent of mind right from the 18th and the 19th century. That was the effort of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And we'll continue to get you much more on this big story. India Today's Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan reporting from Ground Zero. But I leave you with these images of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron in Jaipur.